diagnostic yield just tells us what percentage of patients having a test are going to have a result come back. So it really, in another way, tells us how many of those patients that might have testing for any number of reasons that we're going to be able to get a result back on that we can then impact their clinical management with. Diagnostic yield is really important because you want that number to be as high as possible, because that means then you're benefiting the most number of patients possible. And what we know with exome and genome sequencing is that both of these tests are really the most comprehensive tests available. They are much more comprehensive than traditional genetic testing approaches. And since they are one test as opposed to sort of a number of different tests, we really can cut down on the diagnostic odyssey for many patients that otherwise would have gone months or even years trying to get a result. ACMG and other medical societies have put forward practice guidelines that recommend whole genome sequencing and whole exome sequencing as first-tier tests for a number of different clinical indications. So what we did was we actually took a cohort of about 1,200 patients, and we said, okay, of these patients, how many of these patients have developmental delays or intellectual disability? And we said, of those patients, how many patients does whole genome sequencing give us a result for? And what we found was that overall of patients that had those developmental delays, we saw that about 40% we were able to get an answer on, and depending on the exact sort of clinical features that the patient had, that sort of result rate was as high as 80%. So this really shows the clinical benefit of doing whole genome sequencing, in that it really does allow us to capture these patients and for many of them really get the answers that they need.